Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to be the featured reader this afternoon and share a cross-section of my poetry with you. The most difficult problem was figuring out what to read. I wanted to try not to be too repetitive, so some ones you haven't heard, some of these have been published, and some new ones, and I have a couple of old favorites. Moving on. After 26 years, I'm as burnt out as a Midwest prairie at the end of a drought. Resolved to leave my 8 to 5 stress. Determined not to spend retirement like my parents. A meal at weekly at Burger King, a blockbuster movie. I buy a 2-bed, 2-bath condo in affordable Florida. A lanai overlooking lush greens, 5 miles from water, 4 from my identical twin. 6 months left in New York. Relocation fears freeze my thoughts. I must leave my daughter, old friends, poetry community. Creative writing stifled. Damn, all I've written lately are checks. Okay, this was inspired by an actual event, something that I really saw. Witness to a death. I admired your lofty branches, your deciduous leaves that shaded my window from the summer sun. Years ago, the landlord pruned your lower branches, your crown left to form a green leafy canopy. Your branches no longer hovered over parked cars, dripping sticky sap. 2 weeks ago, I watched your pronounced sway, your dance of death, until you surrendered, roots no longer able to withstand Sandy's strength. So you tumble with precision, fall into an empty parking space, barely grazing cars parked on either side. Now I see stray cats running across your bent, uprooted stump, your trunk cut up for firewood piled near the building. I lost power for 6 days, lost more in losing sight of you. This is a drop-down title. Your fingers restore old, worn-out furniture till reborn and antique, ready for sale. Craft fine jewelry boxes from cherry and oak woods to look like surreal women, polished to a lacquer finish. Destined for art galleries, the Picasso-like drawers are women's breasts, tiny wooden knobs, the nipples. Though untrained, your fingers could pluck violins for the Philharmonic. I know this from the sound of my own crescendo. Memories to go. Photos spanning the 50s. Black and white prints. My twin and I as kids, clothed alike. Often in dresses we detested. Dad worked in children's apparel. Our choice, tomboy dungarees. Short sleeve t-shirts, hair parted, held back with barrettes. Mom in diverse sizes and hairdos, dieting from size 20 to 10. Hair dyed blonde to match a new image. Dad looking downtrodden, always a round-shouldered stance, barely managing to smile. I'm packing up memories, careful not to linger, lest I remember, or worse yet, analyze. Apology to my car. While you sat in foot-high snow, I sat in my 3-room apartment. Sought relief for cold feet, chapped hands, split skin on fingertips. You displayed Empire's yellow, blue, purple passports, affixed to window behind driver. I fantasized about condo purchase and retirement in Delray Beach. Anxiety and elation competing in my veins. 3 months later, I strip your New York insignias, proudly worn for years. Screw a white and green license plate to your rear end. Declare you a Floridian. Reluctant, I change my residency too. step into small, crowded DMV, surrender New York driver license, handle new Florida one with soft bronzed hands and a heavy heart. Maybe I owe myself an apology too. Daddy's Little Girl. It's one of the older ones that I wrote several years ago. I was never Daddy's little girl. Mommy made sure of that. Usurped the position before I could aspire to it. Deprived of hugs, kisses, I grew up with buried hunger, dug up years later as a young divorcee. With choices in men, I chose older ones. They wooed me, made me feel special, as Daddy never did. Yet they were never him, I not their little girl. Never got what I missed, still miss what I never had. The blonde factor. I'm not talking about the famous ones, Marilyn, Bridget, or Barbie, or fairy tale heroines, Cinderella and Goldilocks, or comic book icons, Blondie and Betty. Like flowers attract bees, blondes are magnets for men, especially in the Sunshine State, where more women wear blonde, poured from a bottle, than any other color. I watch the blonde-haired gals, whether 5'2" or 5'10", with hair straight as corn silk, or curly locks that dance on shoulders, garner glances from gaping guys, while we brunettes feel invisible, waiting for a man who is colorblind. Fruit salad. I stand by the kitchen sink, cut up a pear, an apple. I was the one of your eye. An orange. I hear you say, use the juice to slow browning. Always the teacher, in and out of the classroom. Your voice echoes like the taste of pineapple that stays on my tongue. Flashbacks of early years, laughing, loving, sweet, succulent as strawberries. I squeeze a lemon, squirt my eye, memory of later years. My senses stung by changes in you. I sculpt watermelon to look like a whale with mouth agape. Fill its empty cavity with fruit salad. Empty my mind of pomegranate moments. This is one of my old favorites. Perception. I'm not your calendar pinup, clad in a scanty outfit, reminiscent of World War II cigarette girl. Not your Marilyn Monroe, clenching her too short skirt to keep it from being blown over her waist. Or a Las Vegas showgirl in slingback stilettos, tossing long blonde locks, eager for your fingers. And you are not my Bob Hope, my Woody Allen, my Billy Crystal, making me weep with laughter, nor that trick mirror that sees me 10 pounds thinner than I really am, or the photographer who erases my wrinkles, sagging skin in unmentionable places, who makes me believe that somehow I am all that you seem to want me to be. Okay, June was always my favorite month when I lived in New York. A couple of times, though, she disappointed me, and I let her have it. To June. I thought you had recovered from your last depression when you cried almost every day. Outdoor weddings, graduation parties, relegated to tents, awnings. Oh, those poor girls in prom dresses, 4-inch heels, forced to walk on drenched, muddy grass. If only you had taken Zoloft or Prozac. Talked out your issues with sisters April and May. Half your 30-day cycle might have been salvaged. Instead, 11 months in rehab, the earth and sky kicked out of you, those nasty weather docs and their primitive shock therapy. This may be the year you need to return to rehab. Half your cycle finished and you're screaming. Skies frazzled with your crackling voice, earth soaked with your heavy tears. Your sun-bright smile, dry breezes, unreliable once again. This was inspired. You can see my poetry is kind of confessional. This is Confessions. On a clean white sheet, I lay myself down, bleed words all over the page. Like a novice poker player, cards face up, my life laid out. A Van Gogh, not a Picasso. At times, I wish I could rattle my readers, dress my poems up in opaque metaphors, clothe their lines in hues of red and purple instead of black and white, veil myself with esoteric writing, create a mystery, be published in the New Yorker. One more, okay. Didn't think I'd get this one in. Okay. What a mother can say. At last, you've taken off the diamond worn far too long, stepped out of your Cinderella world of illusion, away from that parasite, the Robin Hood who stole your youth, took the banquet you willingly spread while you settled for crumbs, doled out at his whim, and held on to them with pit bull tenacity. Why did it take so long to end this sham? Why did it take 10 years for Sleeping Beauty to wake up?